A nation that fears the truth. Nigeria is gradually becoming a society that fears the truth. From the corridors of power to the ordinary streets, many people now whisper what should be spoken openly. Truth has become dangerous, honesty is treated like rebellion, and silence has become the safest strategy for survival. A nation that cannot tolerate honest reckoning is a nation walking toward ruin. In the past, societies progressed because courageous men and women stood up against injustice. They spoke against oppression, corruption, and the abuse of power. But in today's Nigeria, fear has settled into the bones of public life. The judiciary, constitutionally charged with protecting the weak and defending justice, is increasingly regarded as an instrument of the powerful. Judicial independence, though enshrined in Nigeria's constitution, is frequently undermined by political interference and the lack of financial autonomy, weakening the court's ability to deliver impartial justice. Nigeria ranks 120th out of 142 countries on the World Justice Project Rule of Law Index, scoring just 0.41 out of 10. These are not abstract numbers. They represent millions of Nigerians who have stopped expecting fairness from the institutions designed to serve them. The media, once the voice of the voiceless, is also under siege. Nigeria dropped 10 spots to 122nd in the 2025 World Press Freedom Index, with Reporters Without Borders linking the decline to growing threats to editorial independence. The cases are no longer hypothetical. In May 2024, police detained Daniel Ojukwu, a journalist with the Foundation for Investigative Journalism, over an article exposing procurement fraud involving a government official. He was released after 10 days without charges. In August 2024 alone, at least 56 journalists were assaulted or arrested while covering demonstrations across the country. The concentration of media ownership in the hands of politically connected individuals and private groups has become a significant factor undermining editorial independence in Nigeria. Because of these pressures, stories are buried, investigations abandoned, and the truth slowly interred beneath propaganda and political loyalty. Among ordinary Nigerians, fear has become a daily reality. The End Bad Governance protests of August 2024 demonstrated both the courage of ordinary citizens and the severity of the state's response. Over the course of 10 days of protests triggered by economic hardship, more than 1,000 people were arrested and at least 22 protesters lost their lives. Some lost their lives in Kano, Jigawa, Katsina, Niger State, and Maiduguri due to violent crackdowns by security personnel. The state did not limit its reach to the streets. A National Youth Service Corps member, Ushi Ugwumai, had her certificate withheld and faced a 2-month service extension after refusing to delete a TikTok video criticizing Tinubu's economic policies. Media Rights Agenda documented 141 attacks on journalists and citizens for online speech in Tinubu's first 2 years in office. Activists and protesters are treated like criminals instead of patriots. In such an atmosphere, silence becomes a form of self-defense. One of the deepest tragedies of modern Nigeria is that its dysfunction has become profitable for some. Nigeria ranks 140 out of 180 countries on Transparency International's 2024 Corruption Perceptions Index. Contractors profit from projects that are never completed. Politicians grow wealthy from the divisions they engineer. When chaos becomes profitable, there is little incentive to resolve the nation's problems. Those who speak truth become threats to the system, because truth names the people who benefit from national failure. Fear has also hollowed out the spirit of collective resistance. Nigerians complain privately but fall silent in public. Many have lost faith in the possibility of change. The fear of prison, violence, or bureaucratic retaliation discourages people from standing together to demand freedom and accountability. Yet history offers no example of a society that survived the permanent suppression of truth. Nations collapse not only because of bad leaders, but because good people become too afraid to speak. Nigeria cannot move forward while truth continues to be treated as a crime. When openness shrinks, through political intolerance, restrictive laws, economic pressures, or violence against journalists, the space for accountability collapses, elections become performative, and governance turns opaque. The media must reclaim its independence. The judiciary must restore public trust. Citizens must rediscover the courage to defend what is right. The truth may be uncomfortable, but it is the only road to national healing. A society that punishes truth eventually destroys itself, because lies can only survive for a season. Truth always returns, and when it does, it returns with far greater force.